What's up everyone? In this video I am going to be going over this house that I was considering buying, and I'm going to show you this whole process of how I do everything. Sorry if this road noise is pretty loud, we're on a main road, but I'm gonna explain exactly what I look for and kind of show you my process of possibly thinking about getting this house. Alright, so this is the initial walkthrough of the house, and the first thing you're going to notice is that it's really overgrown. Now, it's located in the metro parks, so there's going to be a lot of greenery in the areas that are surrounding it. So the main thing you'll see is the tree on the right is drooping down, and those branches are hanging so low that they're going to hit your car. Another thing that you're going to notice is that the yard's kind of overgrown and just not well maintained. And when you look closely at the gutters, you can see the shingles peeling back, and what that is the gutter guards are forcing them upwards because I think they're either the wrong size or they were installed incorrectly. So that's another thing that could possibly cause issues in the future, is just the asphalt shingles just not sitting properly on the roof, allowing the water to go the correct way. Now, if you look a little closer, another thing you're going to notice is the brick on the stairs. It's starting to fall off in different places, so you're either going to need to replace the bricks, refinish it, or there's a couple other options you can do. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're moving forward. You're going to notice that this house is on septic, and the greenery all around it is just all overgrown, so that's going to need addressed as well. Now, working forward, there is a random extension cord coming out of the septic tank, and I found out that is just powering the ejector pump because the aerator was not installed and it was causing the system to think it was failing, so it was just cutting all electricity to it. So now we're just working our way over to the side of the house. So you can see how the shingles are peeling backwards, and that is going to cause the roof to allow the water to go up under the shingles and not into the gutter. So the fact that those were not installed properly is kind of a scary sign that something might be wrong further, depending on how long it's been like that. Looking further down the line, everything else is like that too. All the gutter guards are bent and just not installed properly. So I'm just going to leave it at that and not really do any further inspecting. And working my way down and around the house, you can see that there's this old asphalt roof that they've made, and it's just a carport, but the whole thing is just old shingles, and underneath the plywood's all rotted because they didn't seal it in properly to act as a roof. So that is going to need to get ripped down before an inspection will pass. You can see there how it's rotting underneath. Now, working our way further backwards, you've got an old deck. All these deck boards are actually cantilevered out from the house, so this could in theory be a floating deck, and I'm sure that's what it was, but over time the boards either rotted or something happened to where they needed to add this extra structure underneath it. And taking a peek behind these boards, I just wanted to show that the concrete has a lot of washout under it, and it's separated a little over an inch from the house, but it's got an old AC unit and all the concrete's just in really bad condition. It's just had a lot of wear and tear throughout the years. Now, another thing, there's not much of a backyard. It's more or less just a giant hill going up the back. So on this very back part of the house, there's going to be water problems. I know that going into it. So what you have to do to fix that is regrade the yard so that the water flows away from the house rather than directly into it on that side of the house. But on the back side of the house, it's all right because it's just flowing down into the little ravine that's behind it. But as you'll notice, this whole backyard is just really caked with ivy, and it's not even a backyard in all reality. It's rough. So what I'll end up probably doing is digging it out to make it flat, and then either have a tiered backyard or one giant wall in the back. So that will give you somewhat of a backyard for the dogs to run around in and you to entertain people. Now, looking at the soffits, everything's good. There's just a little bit of peeling paint, and you can kind of see some of the rotted wood on the decking. But yeah, going back to the AC, it's just a really old unit, so that will need replaced sooner or later. And you can kind of see this crappy little fence that's currently lining the backyard. there's more of the rotted wood on the carport. So I'll pause right here, and you'll notice this looks pretty steep in the video, and it is a really steep driveway. So where that grate currently is, it drops so steep into that you can't even park a regular sized car that isn't lowered in the garage without going in at a pretty intense angle. So this is pretty much useless if you're trying to pull straight in. There's a little picture of the road. Now working our way up the steps to check out the deck and inside of the house. You will notice that there's a giant crack there, and that's from just dirt washing out from under it and the concrete settling, and then the deck's just got a lot of peeling paint. It's in decent condition otherwise. So first entry, you notice that there's a fireplace. It's a pretty open area, and then you've got a wall separating the kitchen from the living space, and it's all a vaulted ceiling, so it's a really open feeling, absolutely gorgeous in there. And then you have a little coat closet with attic access. Working your way towards the kitchen from the dining room, you have a little galley kitchen with old appliances, nothing special, and that kitchen wall is not entirely connected to the ceiling, but down the hallway on the other side of the kitchen wall, you have your bathroom. It's a really large bathroom, but it's not quite big enough to be split into two different ones. So in here, I kind of look for leaks and anything that's gone wrong in the past, and it's just all really outdated in this one from what I'm seeing. And then here's bedroom number 1. With its closet, it's nothing too special. It's got hardwood floors. It's pretty nice overall. Then there's this hallway light that's pretty neat. I can see where it would come in handy, but I don't think I'd ever really use it. And then moving into the back bedroom, I think we're going to call this the master, just because it's the furthest away from the road, but it's got a regular size closet. And then bedroom number 3, which all these rooms are about the same size. They're nothing special, and it's got a little bit smaller closet, but still a decent size, plenty of room for anything you'd ever need to store in there. Next, I'm going to work my way down towards the basement, which leads you right into the garage. And you can see that red light on the septic tank. That means it's not working. But the garage is empty. There's nothing in it. It's just a regular block garage with a concrete floor. You got a utility tub in the back corner and a little workspace, along with your electric box. And then there's some exposed insulation, which isn't a huge deal. Just got to cover it up with some plastic. And then there's a spare room off of the garage, and this isn't really doing it justice because of how blurry it is, but half of the room is covered in drywall, which is the top half. And then working your way around the room, you can see exposed electric outlets not in there. Those ceiling fans are barely hanging on by their thread. And a lot of these outlets are just, everything's really outdated. Nothing's attached. It's pretty poorly done, which is a shame to see because this area is kind of cool. But working your way back through that room, they tried covering something up. I think they're having water problems on that wall. That wall is where the water issue that I assumed would be is happening, and I was right. Like, that drywall is all soaked and it's just not in great condition. So you got a little bit of sub panel, an extra toilet, your grinder pump, washer machine, furnace, and hot water tank. And then there's your floor drain. Now the furnace is a little bit older and the hot water tank is pretty much new, so that's a nice bonus, but that water that's coming out from under it is actually coming from the furnace. It's not actually coming from outside or from the hot water tank. When the AC turns on, the furnace sweats and the drip pan's not doing anything to catch it. So there's either a crack in it or something along the lines of that. So I haven't had a chance to actually take it apart to look at it, and I might leave that up to someone else to do. A little bit of a spoiler alert, I did end up buying the house and I am going to be renovating it, but the thing is I am going to be doing a live-in renovation. So I'm going to be documenting my experiences through this whole process and how I'm doing everything, what problems come up. So if that all interests you, make sure you like this video and go subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be putting out a lot of content based on this. So with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.